Welcome, everybody, to our number 227 Sunday gathering. Wow. If we haven't yet met, I'm Sandra Champlain, author of the book you see behind me, We Don't Die, A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death. I host two podcasts, We Don't Die Radio and Shades of the Afterlife, now with 650 combined hours of episodes. So I am a girl who not only believes in the afterlife, but wants to share as much credible evidence as we have, help people through grief, and how do we have a powerful life while we're here on planet Earth. So that's a little bit about me. And yeah, 227 weeks ago, we started our Sunday gathering, an idea that started with Darren and I. Someday, we'd love to do this Sunday gathering and our live events. And little did we know COVID would come in 2020, and we decided to host this short time online. Well, it became a global sensation, now having usually around 150 people at our Sunday gatherings, and they're so very special to me. I want to introduce you to the gentleman I'm with today. I'm so happy about that. We have my dear, I call him my brother. He is as closer than my brother, in fact, Darren Wynn. We have a wonderful medium and friend, Dominic Boag, with us. And for our first time here on the Sunday gathering, we have Mr. Chris Ryan. Chris, I just recently interviewed. He's a wonderful man. He's got so much love in his heart. He has compiled this book. It's called Helping Fathers Heal: Grief, Hope, and Our Search for Connection. It's the stories of 25 gentlemen and their stories. He is a big part with our good friends at helpingparentsheal.org. You can go to that website, you can click on affiliates, and then there's Helping Fathers Heal. So much there for our friends at helpingparentsheal.org. And just a real shout out to them. I know we have many of the community members there. There's resources for all. If you're a parent with a child in the spirit world now, or your father, mother, and if you're a sibling, and even if not, they have an amazing YouTube channel that's free and tons of information for all. So we love our friends at Helping Parents Heal. So with that, who's going to do what today? Well, you have myself for the reading, doing the behind the scenes magic on the music and so forth. Our friend Chris will be doing the address today. Darren will be providing some words for the week and also our closing prayer. And we have our good friend Dominic, who's going to open us up in prayer today, and then also do our demonstration of mediumship. So if this is your first time at the Sunday gathering, or if you've been here before, just sit back, relax, feel the love. We hope to inspire you and for you really to know that our loved ones are very much alive. They're still around and that our lives matter. So Dominic, if I could turn to you for our opening prayer, please.
Thank you, Sandra. Well, friends, very welcome to you all. If I just ask you just to take a moment of contemplation. Divine Spirit, Infinite Intelligence, we ask that you help us gather together from all different parts of the world, different walks of life, different race, different views, and even different language. But allow us to come together with love, that knowing of love, and allow our loved ones to come forth and speak their truth once again, that their life truly is eternal. Allow us to bring light back into this world, and allow us to be a beacon of hope for others moving through their grief. Allow them to know it's a journey, and that journey cannot be rushed. There is no right and there is no wrong path to take, but only love can guide you through. Father, we ask you to show us the way, and we ask you to help us move forward with love. We ask you to keep this service in your heart. As we have gathered here, we gather for love and for spirit. And all this we say in your name, which is love. Amen.
Thank you so much, Dominic. Well, I have the reading for you today, but before I give my reading, I want to play a video. The Olympics have just started, and it's a wonderful time to unite the world. And I wanted to see if I could share something special Olympic in the world of Olympics. And I stumbled across a video. It was an advertisement video that came about for the 2016 Paralympics. And this video is a feel-good video, but it left me with the feeling that we can be unstoppable. So I'm going to play the video first, and then I'm going to share my reading. All right, now pay close attention to the video because it's pretty darn cool, if I say so myself, and very inspiring. All right, let's make this big on the screen, and here we go. I love that, and I've played it about 10 times. And for me, it struck a nerve because I'm just as human as others, and I can be a meaning-making machine, all the good reasons why I can't do something. So my reading is really about being unstoppable, and we are all superhuman. I want to share two short stories with you that demonstrate that anything is possible. Not that I need to after that video, but the first is about Muniba Mazzari, who loved art and loved to paint, but had to marry someone chosen by her parents at the tender young age of 18. 3 years into the marriage, she and her then husband had a tragic car accident. They both survived, but Muniba sustained multiple injuries that would change her life forever. Her backbone was crushed, and she had multiple fractures in her arms, collarbone, rib cage, and shoulder. While under treatment, she received even more devastating news. Her doctor said that she could not paint anymore due to the injuries on her hand and shoulders. And then came even more shocking news when she was told she won't ever be able to walk again. But the final straw was given when her doctor said she wouldn't be able to give birth to a child, which, according to her, was the most painful news of them all. Imagine being at the age of 21 and hearing this terrible news. Muniba was left discouraged, but she decided not to give up. She started to take action one day at a time and decided to live a great life, fighting through her fears despite her circumstances. While confined to her bed, she started painting with her painful fingers and shoulder. She decided her life wouldn't be restrained by the wheelchair. So she started appearing more and more in public. She worked on a modeling campaign for Toni and Guy, being the first model in a wheelchair. She started public speaking by sharing her story to teach young people about resilience. In 2015, she was named one of British Broadcasting Corporation's 100 Most Inspirational Women. The accomplishment she has felt most proud of is when she was able to adopt a young boy. Becoming a mother was Muniba's most fulfilling dream. Her story shows you that your current circumstance does not determine what your dreams can accomplish. Excuse me. My next story is about John Morrow, who is one of the most famous and successful marketers and bloggers in the entire world. He started, developed, and sold multiple blogs that have made him millions of dollars. He is his own boss and works wherever and whenever he wants to. And the most amazing part is this. John accomplished all of these while using only two parts of his body, his eyes and his lips. Yes, the only body parts that John can move are his eyes and lips. That's impossible, you must be saying, for him to do all that. Well, let me tell you this story. When John was a baby, he was diagnosed with a genetic defect called spinal muscular atrophy that paralyzed him from the neck down. His doctors gave him 2 years to live before probably succumbing to pneumonia and weakness. Against all odds, he survived, but not easily. He had to rely on Medicaid to pay for his frequent hospital visits and care. This care cost $120,000 a year for doctors, caregivers, medicines, etc., which was all paid for by the U.S. government. But John wanted to work, and unfortunately, he found that he would lose all of this coverage should he make more than $700 in a month. But John had ambitions for his life. Like any young person with a college degree, he wanted to create wealth and not be dependent on the government. So he was forced to choose between his life and wealth. Had he had to remain poor his entire life to keep receiving care. But John believed he could have both, despite his circumstances. So the first step he took was to work for free for an online magazine to develop his blogging skills and forge networks with other bloggers. His second step was to build his own consultant agency to earn some money. When he realized he was able to make $10,000 a month from his consultancy agency, he moved to Mexico, where he was able to reduce his health care expenses from $120,000 to $18,000 a year and avoid being dependent on Medicaid. And the rest is history, as they say. John has sold over 350 million copies of his works and now earns approximately $40 million per year. The moral of these stories is when you feel like the world is against you, that you're in a hopeless situation where you cannot win, what we must do is change the rules in our favor. As Moniba and John have shown us, there's always a way to accomplish your goals and ambitions in life. Don't stay trapped by your current circumstances because you can always change them. And remember that you already have everything you need in order to succeed. So thank you for listening to my reading today. We're going to go into our healing segment now. And for those of you who don't know, or this is your first time on a Sunday gathering, we're going to play a nice piece of music. But while the music is playing, think of those people that need healing. I know there's people, I know there's pets, I know there's places in the world that need healing. If we could send a little extra healing to our community member, Sue, who has been with us since the beginning. She had a terrible fall a week ago, hurt her back and is in hospital right now. So Sue, we are sending you some love. It's a good way to experience healing, to imagine people healthy, whole, well, situations clear. Don't focus on what needs to be done, focus on them feeling wonderful. Those in the unseen world can use our human energy and direct it to where it's needed. So all we need to really do is be an open vessel. If you want to just sit back and enjoy the beautiful song, and the words are so powerful as well. Our song today is Love is the Answer by Mr. Todd Rundgren, who also sang our first two songs picked by our special guest, Chris Ryan. Now, speaking of Chris will be the next voice you hear when the song is complete, giving us the address. And again, Chris is a member of helpingparentsheal.org and Helping Fathers Heal. And let me just one more shout out. He's compiled this amazing book, Helping Fathers Heal, Grief, Hope, and Our Search for Connection. So let's go to our healing song. If you'd like to close your eyes, you can. If not, that's fine too. We'll send that healing. And then when the song is over, you'll hear from Chris.
And such an honor to be able to select the song, which not only is important to me, but I spent 20 years as a radio DJ. So that was my job, is to play songs. And then when they fade out, I'd start talking. So this is very familiar to me. But thank you so much for inviting me, Sandra, and for all you good people, beautiful people, to allow me to share a few words with you today. First, just a little bit about me. Who the heck is this guy? Why is he in my computer today? I'm from San Diego, which is where I am now. Grew up here and grew up in a church environment. In fact, my parents took us to Scott Memorial First Baptist Church, and if that rings a bell with anybody, our pastor was Tim LaHaye. You may know the name from the Left Behind series. So if you're going to go to a Southern Baptist church and you want to make sure that you know exactly how you're going to get to hell, that's the church you want to go to, because it was very clearly defined every Sunday from the pulpit: right, wrong, black, white, heaven, hell, sinner. Are you saved? I even went to a year of school there. They had a Christian high school. But as I was growing and getting into more of the youth group and teenage years, I started questioning some of the doctrine. And I even asked my mom, who I was very close to and who would give me a straight answer. I said, how could God send all the people that are in Africa or the Amazon or China? How could he send them all to the lake of fire forever? Isn't that kind of extreme? And she said, yeah, I don't know that I necessarily believe that either. So there was a crack in the egg. I started to get this little light coming through saying something's not right with this. And I absolutely had a breakaway moment when uh, I was an orderly, and as a teenager, I was wanting to be a nurse. So I worked in a hospital, and my lover was the nurse. She was 25, I was 18. It was like, oh my God, every boy's dream. But she liked to go out dancing, and we'd go to gay clubs because they were always the best dance clubs. And had to go to the restroom, and I picked one because it didn't really matter at those clubs. There were males and females in both. But coming out of the men's room, I saw and I recognized the student body president from Christian high school. And he locked eyes with me, and I just heard the sound of breaking glass in my head. It was kind of like, okay, yes, there's something going on here. There's some hypocrisy. What do I really believe? What am I seeing? What am I experiencing? I actually lost my virginity to this nurse, and that was a sin because, and I don't know if we can talk about this here, but I'm not going to get into too much detail. But I came home and I told my parents, and I said, this has got to be a sin. We're not married. And my parents were supportive, but I opened up a yellow pages. Back in the old days, we had yellow pages. I looked up churches, I closed my eyes, and I put my finger on 3 different churches, and I called and I talked to the pastor or whoever answered, and I told him my story, and I asked him, and I said, well, am I a sinner? Am I going to hell? Why don't I feel guilty? And I got 3 different answers. So that pretty much sealed the deal for me. I knew that I was on a journey. I was on a journey to seek the truth for myself. I spent a lot of time alone out in nature. Sometimes I would enhance my experience. I from time to time would take a mushroom and take a walk and talk to God and talk to the birds. Um, it just became such a way for me to break away. My older brother had left some books behind when he moved out, and one of them was Ram Dass, Be Here Now. Another book he gave me was Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. So I'm starting to get all this new information, and it just sounded like it made sense. It just seemed like it made sense. Um, Eventually, I got into radio, as I mentioned before. In radio, I had a chance to play all the music I loved, meet my heroes, and meet my wife, Sin. And she and I were able to ultimately have a child. His name is Sean Gabriel Ryan. And he was our angel boy. We called him that. Gabriel name had a reason for it because it was really hard to conceive him. But John's childhood was so fun. I mean, he was a funny kid. He was irreverent, smart. He would be getting the jokes in Monty Python and SpongeBob that most of the people were like, oh, those are more adult jokes. So he was very, very sharp. And as he got into his teenage years, he began to question as well. Like a lot of kids, he was starting to experiment with things. It was brand new, the internet. He had to have a computer for school. So he had the independence to go exploring on the internet and doing his own research. He learned about a lot of his favorite musicians. We both love music. And he learned that, wow, a lot of the songs that he likes were inspired by musicians who had altered their, reality. And what do I do? As a parent, I'm trying to guide him. I'm trying to be a good influence, good example. I mean, I'm not doing drugs and, I'm living a pretty straight life. But at the time, he was influenced by his friends and what was going on around him, as all teenagers are. Ultimately, that led him to getting deeper into drugs and alcohol to the point where at the age of 17, we made a scary decision and we sent him to one of these therapeutic wilderness camps in Utah. And I know some of you will judge me. Not all of them are the same, This was not a boot camp where they scream in your face, but it was supposed to be therapeutic. There was a social worker there, and we had some contact with him, but he was pleading for us to let him come home. And after 6 weeks, we heard all the things we wanted to hear. Very smart, clever kid. And he came home, and we had some stipulations and we had some drug testing, but he turned to alcohol because that would escape testing. So he was in a spiral. We were doing alcohol. I mean, we were doing Al Anon meetings. We were trying to figure out how to be good parents. We were trying to live with an addiction in the house, trying to detach from the emotional engagement that causes. And many of you on the call, I'm sure, have gone through that or are going through that with loved ones. We can't change them. We didn't cause it. We can't cure it. We can't control it. So that's where our serenity comes in. But I may be preaching to the choir. I tried to preach to Sean, but ultimately intervention, rehab, sober living, and ultimately at 21, it just got to the point where he didn't want to be straight, and it was causing chaos in the house. So we asked him to find other living arrangements, and we helped him. But he was on his own. He had a job. He was able to make it to work most every day. Um, he did crash a couple of cars, so he had to find a job close to work. I mean, he had to live with his responsible, he was accountable, and we weren't hovering in to rescue him all the time. But at the same time, we just wanted to show him that we loved him. And that was unconditional. We tried to be as strong in that area as we could. Ultimately, Sean's self-medication due to his anxiety, depression, um, self-esteem, low self-esteem, he took to self-medication, and he turned to the internet once again and bought some of what he thought was ketamine online. And he started taking it, and he started getting a little worried. In fact, he left a message. He wrote a note the day he took too much and said, "I'm scared, and I hope I have 9 lives." Um, he passed away on September 4th, 2021, and it was fentanyl and Xanax that took him. Just one of many, many that year to succumb. And they continue. And he was in the ICU for 3 days as his body struggled to come back. His brain was not active, but um, he just was not able to function, but they were pumping him full of life-saving medications. We had to make a choice. After 3 days, his body was shutting down, and he was not responding. So we had to decide to disconnect life support. And it was the hardest decision we have ever made. As you can imagine, after we left the hospital, we actually went across the street to outdoor patio where we weren't hungry, but we were just in complete, utter shock. And as we sat out on the patio, my wife and we looked up, and I said, "Hey, what's the sky? What is that?" And this is the sky. If you're looking in video, this is the sky over the hospital. It's a giant pair of golden angel wings. And if you're listening in audio only, I'll try to describe them. But if you can watch the video, it is dramatic. This is the first of many signs that we got from Sean. A few minutes later, that sky turned orange, but you could still make it out. You could still tell that this was an angel. And Sean's friends all over Cincinnati, where he was living at the time, they saw it too. He had several people saying, "Wow, did you see that?" So signs became something somewhat regular. Um, Sandra, can you give me a hand at 5 minutes? Would you be able to do that for me?
Just a little wave?
Yeah, just a little wave at 5
Okay.
minutes.
Okay, sure.
Signs became a lifesaver for us. We looked for them everywhere. And, there were a multitude of them. Sean and I both had pelicans tattooed onto our arms. Every time I go to the beach and I see pelicans, I think of Sean. And there's another interesting bird, a roadrunner, where just before you started the program, Sandra, a roadrunner, was right out in front of my office window. So I was like, that's the first time I've seen him in about 2 years. So I know he sends us signs. One sign I got just a few days after he passed, I was at home and I couldn't sleep. It was early in the morning. And I went out to get in the jacuzzi. It was still dark. And I went around the corner and I I passed through a warm pocket. It was almost like I went past a bank of dryer vents, like you would at a laundromat. Turned around, I looked, there's no source of heat in this area, but I walked through something that was different. I thanked Sean. I felt like this was a sign. Another sign. One evening before bed, I was brushing my teeth. I'm in my bedroom, actually my bathroom, and I just looked at this picture of Sean. And this is one of my favorite pictures. He's about 11. His eyes are piercing. I'm staring at it, and I'm almost feeling the light in his eyes. And I turned out the light and I went into my bedroom to lay down to sleep. And as I closed my eyes, I knew I was laying in bed, but I saw, with my eyes closed, I saw his eyes. And then I saw in the darkness kind of a lightness around him, like he was made of light. And I was really freaked out by this, but I didn't dare open my eyes. I just continued with this process. And he moved, his head moved. And then before I knew it, it felt like we could communicate with each other. And no words were spoken. It was telepathic, but he turned and he moved. He moved away from me, and I could see the back of his head, and I could position myself to the side of him, and it was like we were floating somewhere. It was all dark around us, but it was like I was seeing him made of light. And I'd never had this happen before. Never, ever, ever in my life. But I believe I was with him. And that has happened to me one other time. So it is my belief that I've had visitations from him, both slightly waking and at other times in dreams, really, really vibrant dreams. Now, Sandra, I had my eyes closed there, so if you raised your hand, I didn't see it. All right. Helping parents heal. We became aware of this shortly after Sean's passing. My wife, Sin, God love her, she's such a wonderful lady, and she's a real researcher. And she took to the internet and she was looking for some way to heal, some help out there. We didn't want to be alone. We were somewhat isolated, as I'm sure many of you that experienced grief have been. We didn't have the support in areas that we felt like we would have support. People in the family didn't step up. We had some friends, but it just was not the same. We felt like we were the only ones in the world who understood what was going on. So Sin found Helping Parents Heal, and she told me about Helping Fathers Heal. And that's an affiliate group of Helping Parents Heal. There are different affiliate groups. Some of them are geographic, but my affiliate group was with fathers, and they meet every Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, no, Central, 5 o'clock Pacific. And we meet on Zoom, and we've been doing it since 2021. And the fathers, it's unique because as fathers, we grieve, I think, a little bit differently. The burden includes the society's lack of acceptance of our emotional state. They don't want to really see, I see that, thank you. They don't really feel comfortable with a dad that's crying in front of them. So as fathers, we have a safe place that we can go and share what it feels like to be a failure. Because as a father, you're supposed to protect your family. You're supposed to provide for your family. We're grieving the loss of the dreams we had, having children, having grandchildren. We grieve our role as protectors of our wives or our spouses or the siblings that have been left behind. We have to be strong for them. And yet there's got to be a time when we don't have to put up a face and a front and be strong when we just don't have it. So in this group, Helping Fathers Heal, it's a place for us guys to get together and celebrate our children, share our stories. And sometimes we have difficult days and we can cry, but some days we can tell beautiful stories celebrating our children and victories that we have, either living through them or creating nonprofits that celebrate their lives. And ultimately, I heard so many good stories. And a medium once told me, she said, "You have a book in you, Chris." And this was complete news to me. This was maybe a year after this Helping Parents Heal conference. We also had an amazing reading at this Helping Parents Heal conference. It was in 2022, and Farrah Gibson rattled off 7 minutes of absolutely amazing signs that locked Sean into us. He explained how I had screwed up a deck that I had just built in the backyard, that it didn't match. He made fun of how I can't play the bar chords on the guitar and how he carved into his guitar. Possibly Sandra will put the notes or the link to this in the show notes. So this medium told me about a book, and the only thing I could think of after spending some time with it was these dads' stories need to be told. And I asked the dads in the group, "Are you willing to tell your story? Would you guys be willing to write a chapter?" And this began a year ago, last August. And so within a year, we were able to get 25 fathers to agree to tell us about their children, celebrate what they were about, what their relationships were about, talk about their passing, talk about what kind of kid they were, and how we celebrate their lives and the memories we have, and the tough times that we had with those kids. But ultimately, how did we heal? How did we come back from the edge? Where did we find help? Who could we lean on? What advice would we have for other dads? And so all of these things have been kind of summarized in short stories, and they are in this book, Helping Fathers Heal. So it was just released in May. So it's available on Amazon and on Kindle as an ebook. I encourage it if you have grief in your life or you're trying to understand someone who's grieving. There are stories of healing, of hope, and also of certain types of ways that we've healed, whether it's through a crazy good medium reading or EMDR that might have helped us to sleep or adjust to a trauma, or counseling, or just being with a tribe of people that understands. There's many, many ways to heal because there's many ways that our hearts are broken, and it's not a single straight line. It happens over and over and over. So I encourage you to just do your research, and there's many books out there that help with grieving, but not too many that deal with what us guys are going through. So Sandra, I appreciate you letting me share my story with the group. I so honor the wisdom and the spiritual, just this is an evolved group of humans. So I'm very glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. And what's customary, because you can't hear us applaud, if you folks want to press your raise hand button just to send a little love Chris's way. We know your beautiful wife is here today. Hello, Sin. We also have members of Helping Parents Heal and Helping Fathers Heal. Some really great resources, helpingparentsheal.org. If you're interested in Helping Fathers Heal, just click on that affiliate page. You'll see Helping Fathers Heal, Helping Siblings Heal. Under the Helping Fathers Heal link, there's the video that Chris had spoken about. Also, I had the most incredible interview with Chris. And so he is featured on both my podcasts, We Don't Die Radio, and he is the recent episode of Shades of the Afterlife. So you can just go to wedon'tdie.com and listen. Just extraordinary. And if you're not a parent and you still want this information, Helping Parents Heal has a wonderful YouTube channel with so many videos, incredible medium demonstrations, special guests, and so much more. So a shout out to all of our friends at Helping Parents Heal. Chris, thanks for saying yes to being with us today. And there's still so much more to come. There really is. Folks, we're going to turn our hats now to our demonstration of mediumship. And this is an opportunity for us to see just how close our loved ones are. Now, they don't just show up on Sundays or Monday mornings if you're down under. They are an active part of our life. We still have our voice and our words. For them, communication's a little more difficult, but they are with us, whether it's coming through dreams or signs or just those out of the blue memories that seem to come in. That's how they work. They work through our imagination. On our Sunday gatherings, it's important to let the spirit world have their voice, to let us know just how close they are. Just like you've heard from Chris, and you'll hear from Dominic more, and Darren at the end, we're the living representatives for our Sunday gathering. Well, we're going to have some representatives from the spirit world of our Sunday gathering that will come through working with our medium, Dominic Boag. If your loved one doesn't come through, which of course not all loved ones can come through, what I ask is that you really hang on every word that is brought through on our readings. Those in the spirit world know who's here, and don't be surprised if some of the messages that come through are things you need to hear. But pay attention just how close they are, and that their love still goes on. They are part of our lives, easily keeping one foot in our world and one foot in the spirit world, continuing to go after their dreams. In a moment, we'll hear a piece of music followed by our demonstration with Dominic. How it works on our Sunday gathering is this. Dominic, I'm sure in his own way, invites those in the spirit world to work with him. They will present themselves to him using any way they can, some of his own memories, pictures in his mind, maybe thoughts, feelings. Sometimes there's a taste and a smell. Who knows? He will do his best to give some initial bits of information about the person that is in contact with him. I want everyone to be on their edge of your seat and listen in. Is this my person? Your person could be a loved one, family member, could be a friend, could be somebody you worked with, could be somebody a little bit more distant. We never know the method to the madness, so to speak, that the spirit world uses. So really listen in. Is this your person? Your person will no longer be walking this human life. Okay, so that's one thing they all have in common. If you understand all the information that Dominic has shared about this person in spirit, we want you to press your raise hand button. Right now, if you want to press your raise hand button again, just to play with that button, see how it works for you. It'll say raise hand, then you click it, then it'll say lower hand. Why this is important is sometimes there's two or more people in our gathering that can take all the information. So of course, Dominic will work. So we're down to that one person with their hand raised. If you are that person, I have a special button on my side that I press. You're going to get a pop-up with a button to unmute yourself. We don't need to see you. Your camera is off, but we would love your voice. All we need when I ask for your voice is one of three answers. We let any medium, whether it's Dominic or anyone you go to, we let them do the work. All we need to say is yes, no, or I don't know. Okay, those are your three responses. I often say, don't feed the medium. And what that means is don't give them the information about your loved one. So often, folks, it happens in the world that mediums may not be as trained as they should be or may not have the ethics, but we need the information to come from the medium. And so you don't go home saying, well, did I tell them that or did the medium tell me that? So it's easy, yes, no, or I don't know. And if something doesn't fit, you can simply say no. No problem. No simply means a new opportunity. That's how it works. I think I've gotten to it all. If not, Dominic will tell me. But what I'd like to do now is play that piece of music. It's just a 2-minute piece of music. While we're listening or watching, just imagine your loved ones all cozy as you're all looking at the screen together. Of course, like I said, you don't have to invite them to be there. They're there. And just feel that love, okay? And like Todd Grundgren said, love is the answer. Love binds us all. So let me play this song, and then we will bring Dominic on video. Okay. It's a very colorful video. This is Life in Color. Isn't that a great video? Hello, Dominic.
Hello, my darling. How are you doing?
Great.
Good, wonderful, wonderful. Well, just as I was starting to listen to that music, I could start to feel our loved ones draw close. So let's see where we end up. But just as I start to allow Spirit to come forward, I am very much aware of a gentleman that steps forward here just now. And I know that this gentleman either was in the Navy or was a captain of ships, because he keeps talking to me about the sea, nautical things, things I don't have a clue about. But I know that there would be a photograph of him wearing his uniform with his lapels, his hat. And I know he goes to the spirit world with a short illness. And I feel that this gentleman may have had cancer, but I'm very aware of issues within my tummy, my bowels, very aware of everything just starting to close down on me very quick as I connect here with him. And I feel there should be a connection either to Ricky or Richard or Rich, but I keep getting an R gentleman name as I connect with this man here. I know also as he connects here with me, he talks to me about being a father as well, because he tells me to say the greatest achievements of his life was raising his children. And I feel son and daughter. So I know he would have mixed family as I connect here with him. And just to put that in, or just to seal that deal, there would be something to do with a maritime clock that would still be here within the family that I feel he took great pride in.
Thank you very much, Dominic. If you can understand that information, go ahead and press your raise hand button. Now I see June with her hand raised. So June, if I could ask you to press your unmute button. Oh, we also have Rita with her hand raised. June, are you able to press your unmute button? Could be by accident that she pressed it. Rita, if you could press, there we go. June's hand went down. Rita, are you there? Sometimes we do have technical difficulties. As much as I don't like it to happen, we do. Rita, your hand is raised. There you are.
There we are.
Yeah, I raised it by mistake. I'm sorry. Just practice.
That's okay.
Just playing.
Okay, no problem at all. So I'm going to ask again, who can understand this information? Press your raise hand button. Spirit World knows exactly who's in our Sunday gathering today.
Whilst we wait, Sandra, let me just recap with this beautiful gentleman. I know as I connect here with him, there would be something to do with his hat or his cap maybe had been passed through the family as well. And I know that the naval connection with this gentleman was something that he did for many years. As he connects here with me as well. And I know that the illness that I connect here with him either was late diagnosed or sat dormant for many years before being treated or before being diagnosed as well. I know Bill would also be connected with this man because he keeps telling me to mention Bill as well.
Thank you. All right, friends. Who understands this? Lisa has her hand raised. Let's bring in Lisa.
Hi, Dominic. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Just tell me what you understand, sweetie.
I can relate to the name Bill. I understand why that's being brought up. My father, is in the Navy. This person was in the Navy. I saw a picture of him with his cap, the Navy outfit.
Yep.
And he did die kind of suddenly. He was kind of sick for a while, but he did die quickly. So I'm not sure.
That's okay, sweetie. Do you also understand if I was to say to you he would also have a son in the spirit world?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Because again, I feel very much needing to talk about being with a son in the spirit world as well. I know I want to talk about having great memories of traveling and doing my work in the Navy, but I know that he was a storyteller because I know he loved to share his stories or his memories with his family and also with grandchildren, if I can say that to you as well. Okay. I do feel there's something to do with a significant clock because he keeps showing me the arched clock. So I know there would be a clock that had went through the family that he keeps bringing to my attention here. Do you know this?
Yes.
Yep, okay. I do feel also as he connects here with me, he tells me to say when it came to his health and when it came to his illness, he did not want to accept that he was failing. So I know he tried his very best to disguise how he was feeling, not wanting to go to doctors, but I know that his family certainly could see that he wasn't in good shape. Would that be true?
Yes.
Yep. I know also as he connects here with me, he would either have a daughter or a granddaughter who would now be a nurse that may have seen where he was starting to fail or see that he was not doing too well and tried to give some advice or tried to help him, but he did not listen. Would that be true?
He didn't listen, but she wasn't his daughter or daughter. She wasn't his granddaughter.
Okay, I'm not going to change that. I know there would either be a daughter or a niece. There was a
Oh,
female that
yes.
was very
Yes.
close.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Because I know that this information comes close from home, or
Yes.
close to home is certainly what I need to say here. I know he mentions Debbie, so maybe there's a Debbie connection there, but he just keeps bringing to
Oh
my
my goodness.
attention. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect, fabulous. Because I know as he connects you with me, he just keeps saying, I need you all to know that the love I received, I'm giving back. I'm giving back. So I know at the moment he is trying to bring a lot of healing from the spirit side of life to our side of life here as well, if I can say that to you, sweetie. Okay. I know also someone still here may feel as the sun still has either a badge or a medal, but there's something that I feel looks gold that this gentleman would have worn at some point as well. Do you know this?
Yes.
Perfect. Again, just as I say the connection to Bill or to Billy, I know that there's a lot of gratitude and a lot of love connecting there as well, but I still keep getting this
Wow.
feeling of T or Ricky, Richard, that seems to be very important in the spirit
Yes.
world as well.
Richard,
Okay.
yes. And Bill, I
Perfect.
understand Bill too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's okay. You don't have to tell me, sweetie, but I know just as he connects, he just wants to say, rather than people still worrying about me, he says, let me worry about them. So please know that the prayers that yourself and the family are sending out to the spirit world, he is doing his best to deliver help, support, love, healing, but most importantly for yourself, peace of mind. Okay. So Lisa, thank you very much for allowing me to connect with this beautiful gentleman.
Thank you, Dominic.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. I know I have Mum stepping forward from the spirit world here, and I know as I connect with Mum, she makes me feel that she falls. So I know that she had a fall, and I feel she passes at home. And I know that as I connect with this lady, she was always doing things. I actually feel she would pull like a dining room chair to get something from a high shelf, or she was always, doing things even when she knew she shouldn't be. I know there was either a slight sense of dementia or a slight sense of confusion that was coming in latterly before truly being treated. So I don't feel she goes to hospital or be cared for. This all seems to happen very quick at home, is what I need to say here. I know there should be a Teresia or a Teresa name that would connect with this beautiful lady. I know also there would either be a Catherine or a Kathleen or Kathy that would understand this beautiful lady as well. I know as this lady, as Mum connects here with me, I feel I'm in my 90s with her. I feel I'm up there with age because she keeps telling me to say that she outlived her life and she was okay with this. She was okay with this. But I know that she would have either been found passed away or found either on the floor, but I feel there's something to do with having a fall with this beautiful lady.
Thank you very much. All right, friends, who understands this beautiful lady? Go ahead and press your raise hand button. All right, we have Emily and Elizabeth, both with their hands raised. And Teresa.
Okay, can I go with Teresa just because that name's been mentioned? Let me just check with Teresa, please.
All right. Hi, Teresa.
Hi. Hi,
Hey,
Dominic.
sweetie. Does this make sense, darling, with you?
Yes, she did have a fall. That's not what she died of, though.
That's okay, but she would have had a fall before passing very, very short. Would that be true?
Yes.
Because I need to talk about after the fall. This is where my family start to realize that I'm not as able or not as well to look after myself, correct?
No, she had lung cancer, so she was already on
Okay.
hospice. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
want to
I
tell you,
just
but I
feel
want to
like
make
I
sure
need
you
to
get the
say
right
this
person.
fall would have been the catalyst to her demise, is the easiest way that I could say to you.
No, I don't feel that way, that it was the fall. It was her illness.
Hmm.
We have
Okay,
some
let me
other
check. Let me check
friends.
with others, sweetie.
Sure.
Thank you so much. I'm not convinced with that because I keep seeing her lying there. Let's check with Emily.
And we also have Kathy that has raised her hand as well. You had said Kathy
Okay,
and
yeah, I did
Christy.
see Kathy. Yep.
Emily, let's see if you can press your unmute button there. Hi, Emily.
Oh, hello.
Hi, sweetie. Would you understand the feeling with the fall being the catalyst to this lady's passing?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Would you understand the connection to the name Tracy or Teresia? I keep getting this female T.
Teresa, yes.
Okay. Would you understand the connection to Kathy or Kathleen, Kath?
Loosely,
That's okay. I'm just making sure that we're connecting here. But would you accept if I says to you with this beautiful lady that she was always doing things even when she didn't need to, like she didn't like asking for help or she was very independent? I feel she was moving things to get things from high shelves. She was always trying to do things on her own. Would that be true?
yes, I can take that.
Yep. Okay. And would you accept if I says to you as well, darling, this feels right because she's came closer. Would you accept if I says to you as well that where she lived, there would have also been other family very nearby, either within the same row or a few streets behind?
Oh, yes, lots.
Yeah, because I know that she had a lot of help around her. This is what she says. She says, I had a lot of help. I just didn't want the help. I just didn't want the help. And do you know if there was anything to do with people coming and taking either her rose bush or her peonies? I feel like people came and took trees or plants from her home and planted them in their own yard after she passed.
I don't know about that, but she had many peony bushes, actually.
Okay, because I just feel in some way what she's acknowledging is seeing that they all still bloom, they are all still going. She's very excited to see this. I know as she connects here with me as well, sweetie, she does make me feel it's important for the family to know that her passing, she's okay with that. She doesn't want people thinking, what if we got to her sooner? Or what if help this? Or what if this? She doesn't want the what ifs. She wants people to be happy that she had a great life. She also makes me feel she was a huge fan for Christmas. Would that be true?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know that she talks about people still have her ornaments or her baubles. I know that people in the family had taken things belonging to her, like old baubles and ornaments. Would that be true?
Oh, yes, I have many.
Yeah. Fabulous, because she keeps telling me to say everyone, and she's putting her hands up like everyone still has more pieces of me than they realize. They all have pieces of me, and she loves the fact that people still have pieces of her. And I feel it's very important to acknowledge a very young boy. I feel like I want to talk about the youngest boy in the family. This lady has been around a lot just now. Okay, and I feel trying to help him emotionally and physically. So I feel there's a very young boy, maybe a great grandson, that she comes very close to just now. Would that make sense?
Yes, that would be my youngest brother. He was very close to her.
Perfect. Because I know she just keeps trying to tell me, I'm so proud, but I also want to see him bounce back or pick himself back up, is what I want to say to you, darling. Okay. Just as I finish with her, would you understand if I says when she passed away, she would have passed, or her funeral, her memorial would have passed on someone's birthday in the family?
No, I can't take that.
Okay, she keeps bringing to my attention when we as a family should have been happy, excited, and celebrating, we didn't know whether to grieve or to laugh because of the birthday.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Okay, I need you to hold that for me, but I know that I keep wanting to also talk about like a birthday connecting to a holiday as well. Okay, so bear that little thought in mind for me, darling, and we'll see where that picks up. But I know she just keeps trying to extend a true amount of pride and happiness just because she passes the way she did. She doesn't want people to think that that was a shame. She just keeps telling me to say, I'm perfectly fine, look after everyone else. And I feel that's something that you have been doing a lot just now, correct?
Yes, and that's
Yeah.
wonderful to know.
Perfect. My darling, thank you so much for allowing me to speak with her, but I need you to know she's very proud and very much by your side. Keep moving and keep that head up high.
Thank you so much, Dominic.
You're so welcome, sweetie. Thank you. I'm also very much aware of a gentleman stepping forward here, but it's so funny because he comes in feeling younger, but then he tries to show me himself being a man. So he's really confusing me here. But I keep seeing, like Karate Kid with the white jacket and the belt. So I know that he either done karate or he done some form of mixed martial arts as he connects here. I feel there would be different belts connecting with him. I feel as he connects here with me as well, he tells me to say that we didn't get a chance to say goodbye. So I know his passing would have been unexpected. I feel his passing being an accident as he connects here with me. And I know also very quickly as he connects, he keeps trying to tell me to say he was coming home. So I don't know if he was on the way home or coming back from somewhere, but I get this impression of coming home as I connect here with him. Okay. Let me see if I can get any more. I also feel there's a strong J connection with him as well. So I feel maybe Jason or Justin or something, but I keep getting this strong J connection with him as he connects. And you would also understand like Chuck or Chucky or Chick. And I feel that's more like a nickname rather than anything. But I want to talk about him being connected with the martial arts, the karate, his passing being an accident, because I know that he passes very quick to a degree of not getting to say goodbye. Okay, not getting to say goodbye.
Thank you, Dominic. All right, friends, who can understand this information? Raise your hand. All right, we have Janine and Stacy with their hands raised.
Okay, I want to try Stacy for a second because I was about to say there's an S name, but I was about to say masculine, so I want to be honest. But let's check with Stacy.
All right, hi, Stacy.
Hi there.
What do you understand, my darling?
You caught me with Chuck. I just yanked my head around. My brother's name is John. This man we grew up with fell off a roof and died instantly. We didn't get to say goodbye.
Okay. And what's the thing about the karate or the mixed martial
he's a
arts?
martial artist, yes.
Okay, thank you. And you understand the name Chuck, yeah?
Chuck is my brother, yes.
Perfect, because I felt that very unusual, that name, if I could say to you. It's rather funny because I feel I want to talk about growing up. I want to talk about the neighborhood. I want to talk about the fun times, being out and doing rope or playing ball. And it feels like a neighborhood where people really came together because it doesn't feel very busy. So I don't feel it was a busy neighborhood, but it was a neighborhood where all the families integrated or looked out for each other. Would that be true?
Yes, we lived on a cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac, that's the perfect word I want to use, because I know also I want to talk about at times, either doing like anniversary or annual barbecues or cookouts in the neighborhood or events, because I know that this man talks about he loved seeing the kids happy. He loved seeing you all play. He loved seeing everyone have a good time. And I feel like this has been something you have been talking about recently. Would that be true?
Yes, very much.
And I know that I want to say we haven't been able to do the same things, or you don't see family integrate the way that people used to, or where family all connected. But there must be talk of your family getting together for an event or for an occasion in the next few weeks.
We just did.
Perfect, because again, I know that I want to talk about with this young man and with your brother, like seeing the family come together, seeing the memories being done, and I feel it's great to celebrate family. So what I want to say to you from them is, regardless to how we pass, whether it be quick, whether it be prolonged, whether it be an accident, focus on celebrating the life that is still here. Because as we celebrate still here, they get to celebrate with us. They get to celebrate with us, sweetie. So please know that the celebration of life in the spirit world is just as important as it is here. So Stacey, keep celebrating, sweetie. You are very welcome. Thank you very much for allowing me to chat with you. Okay, so I know that I have a beautiful lady stepping forward here just now, and a young girl. And another young girl. So I've got three females here. I know that I want to talk about your birthday just now, your birthday. So your birthday should be this week or very much immediate. I'm very much aware of Gran or Nan in the spirit world. I'm very much aware of her daughter, which I feel is your aunt, but I also feel either your girlfriend or your sister, but I'm very much aware of three females stepping forward here just now. I know somewhere there would be a connection either to Barbara or Barbie or Barbs, because I keep hearing this. I feel also Lil or Lillian or Linda, but I get getting this Lil name sounding. I also want to talk about going to the spirit world either with breast cancer or cervical cancer, but I'm very much aware of needing to talk about feminine cancer as I connect with this information. But the birthday is very important because they keep trying to show me this beautiful birthday cake.
All right, thank you so much. We have our friend Leora with her hand raised.
Leora, what a fabulous name.
Leora, if you could press your unmute button. Hi.
Hi, hello.
Great to meet you.
Hello.
Tell me what you understand, my darling.
I can understand the three female sisters
Yep.
and the name Barbara and, well, my name Leora, not Linda or
Perfect.
Lil,
Yep,
but
yep. That's okay.
yeah.
And do you understand where I get the feeling of the breast cancer or the cervical cancer, sweetie?
No, that I don't get.
You don't get the aunt that would have passed with the cancer?
An aunt, not coming. I was thinking of someone else
That's
with a
okay.
cancer, but not a
That's
female
okay.
cancer.
I'm going to stick with it just because it does feel right. And if I'm wrong, forgive me, but I don't think I am. I don't want to be egotistical. But as we move forward, would you understand as well if I was to talk about the birthday coming up?
There have been birthdays now around
Yep.
this time, yes.
Perfect, because I know I want to talk about the birthdays being celebrated, the cakes, just as I finished with my last lady there. I also know that I want to talk about the dog that went to the spirit world that had to be put to sleep because of problems with its back legs or its hips is doing perfectly fine as well. Okay, so I need you to let the family know that this dog is perfectly well within the spirit world also. Now, do you understand where Maggie or Maggie would connect?
No, that I don't. No. Maggie.
So for me, that would be Margaret, but I feel me as went as Peggy or Maggie.
Oh, I know Margie.
Okay, because just as I'm hearing, just to make sure that we're connected, that's the information that I keep hearing as well. But like I said, I'm very much aware of these ladies pulling close here. And what I will say as the ladies are pulling close is again about sending the amount of love and healing here as well. Now, I'm not going to open things up too deep, but I feel there's a great sense of trying to support from one sister to another. So I feel like we're trying to either send support and love to you or to a sister, but I get the impression of trying to send the love and healing here for a female. Would you understand?
Yes.
Okay. I also want to talk about, well, that's quite symbolic actually. I keep hearing sunflowers can't grow on their own. Sunflower. Do you understand something that sounds like a wagtail or a waggy tail or something? I know that sounds weird.
No, I don't.
You don't receive signs from birds, do you? Because I feel I want to talk about a bird for some reason. And it's quite a small bird I want to talk about.
Yes, no, it's no. No.
Okay. Where you're sitting now, are you beside windows?
Yes, but my curtains are closed.
Okay.
It's
I'm just going
early
to leave
morning.
that as it is, but I'm just going to say to you that whatever the female here is needing the love and the support from one sister to another, they are delivering that. Very clear with the names, very clear with the Margie or however you want to pronounce it. And I just get the impression of needing to say sunflowers cannot grow on their own. We all need a little bit of light. So I feel that's symbolic of a message in some way to yourself. I keep hearing something that sounds like waggy tail, wagtail, something like this that I know needs to be described or mentioned as a bird. So I'm going to say that as well.
Oh, yes, that might,
So
yes.
thank you very much,
Suddenly, as
Lorinda.
you said that, yes. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
fine.
As you said
You
that.
take care, and thank you very much for allowing me to connect with you.
Thank you very much, Dominic.
You
Thank
are
you,
very
Sandra.
welcome. You take care. Sandra, how are we doing for time?
Well, how about one more? That work?
Perfect, fabulous.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So I'm very much aware of another gentleman stepping forward here just now. Very quiet as he's connecting here with me, actually. I feel as he's coming close here, he would have maybe have been a teacher at some point, or like a professor, or a doctor in some ways. Very educational, very, very clever. I feel he spent a lot of time in the mind here. He keeps showing me lots of books and things like this as I connect here with him as well. I do get the impression as he connects here with me, he may have needed some support with a wheelchair, because I know he wants to talk about efforts to take him around or take him outside, is certainly what I keep seeing here. I keep seeing this E name, so I feel maybe there's a connection to Errol or Eric, as this beautiful man connects here with me. I feel as he connects as well, he keeps talking to me about newspapers and awards and things of achievement, and I feel these are still here, to be honest with you, with this beautiful man, because he keeps trying to show me people have kept these achievements and these things belonging to him, the diaries, the books, and I get the impression as he connects, he would have spent time in care. He was in care, because I know you came and you made sure you were with me when I passed, is what he keeps telling me to say. I felt he was connected as husband. Okay, now I'm okay to change that if I need, but I feel I want to talk about my wife, being very significant to me, my wife. And I also feel like a Henry or a Harry, Harold. I keep getting this H name that should be significant to him as well. But his I don't know what it is. His intelligence just really threw me there, with his cleverness and his support. I feel very much like a teacher with him.
Thank you very much, Dominic. All right, friends, who understands this lovely man? Go ahead and press your raise hand button.
And I feel the problem with this man, he would have had a neurological condition. So I feel either a stroke or something that stopped his mobility in some way. And that's where I feel maybe the wheelchair was needed.
Thank you. Patricia has her hand raised. Patricia, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Patricia.
Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Darren.
I
You just tell me
understand
what you understand, Patricia.
the wheelchair, yes.
Yep.
The cognitive decline, the extremely high IQ.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And would you understand if I says to you he would have been in care before passing? Would that be true, sweetie?
Yes, just.
Yep. Because I know that I want to talk about everyone, including yourself, being there for him or making sure that they were around him before passing, correct?
Correct.
Yep. And I know if I was to say to you that he would have had family, he would have had friends that would have been in different states, different countries. Like, I feel he was very popular. He knew a lot of people. Would that be true?
Yes.
Yep. And I don't know where this comes in, but I'm just going to say to you, do you know if he had any interest or any family connecting to South Africa at all?
No.
No, that's okay. I keep seeing South Africa for some reason, so I'll hold that for a second. But I know as he connects here with me, he tells me to say that the wheelchair was something used latterly to try to give him a gentle piece of freedom or have him outside before he really declined. Would that be true?
Yes.
Yeah, because he keeps telling me to say he's aware of the love and the support. And I know that he, in his words, got to a place of he had enough. He didn't want to fight anymore. He had enough. And I feel that his passing was such a relief for him, because he went from being so clever and so intelligent and so mentoring to so many people. I almost feel like a teacher. I feel like he spent a lot of time teaching or programming people in some way, but I know that he did not like the way that he became. Okay, and he keeps telling me to say when he did cross over, there was a great sense of getting his life back, getting his life back. He always dressed smartly as well. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
because I feel like I want to always talk about always having a collar, not necessarily the tie, but always having a collar and nice pants or trousers, if I can say to you. He keeps telling me to say, remember, girl, you're never too old to learn new tricks. And he's aware that you've been contemplating on embarking on a new course or embarking on new form of learning yourself in some way for your own hobby or your own interest. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Now, I'm not saying go and do it, but he is telling you to say that you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to learn. You go for it. You go for it. He must have had a great love or a great knowledge of animals or the wildlife. Would that be true?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
because when I talk about South Africa, he keeps telling me to say, pay attention to the animals. So I know he talks about wildlife. I know I want to talk about deers and birds and insects and, almost as if I was
Absolutely.
going on safari with this gentleman. I know he didn't get to do safari, but I want you to know from the spirit world, he is living his best safari in the spirit world, darling. So thank you for
Oh,
caring and loving for
wonderful.
him the way you all did.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Take care, my darling. Lots of love. Thank you very much. Sandra, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you so much, Dominic. And as customary, if you want to send Dominic some love, just press that raise hand button. Dominic, always a pleasure to have you here. You'll be back very soon as well. So just a few announcements. Oh, my microphone is falling on my lap here. We can find out more about Dominic at his website, dominicboag.com. He's also written the book, The Voice of Spirit. And again, our friend Chris Ryan, you can find him through our friends at helpingparentsheal.org. Just click on the affiliates link and there's Helping Fathers Heal. It's right there. And he's got this wonderful book, Helping Fathers Heal. Yes, I do love to share. And he is the most recent episode on my Shades of the Afterlife podcast. Our home base is wedon'tdie.com. We've got great classes coming up. You can register for our next Sunday gathering. So many things and more. If you're new to our community, at the bottom of the page at wedon'tdie.com, if you enter your name and email address, it says you get a first few chapters of my book. It's the entire book. Chapter 10 is about grief, and that's what brought me into this, really, truly, is why does grief hurt so bad? What can we do to move through it? And there's a whole world of grief that I think you would find very, very interesting, plus reasons to believe in the afterlife and so much more. That's all at wedon'tdie.com. A quick shout out to our friends who have made our Sunday gathering possible for you and I today. It's those who have donated to our Sunday gathering. We really appreciate it. We never beg, we never plead, but for those who are able, we do thank you. If you want to register for next week or see any of the past Sunday gatherings, or if you have a dime or a penny you want to donate, that can be found at the Sunday Gathering page at wedon'tdie.com. And I know not everyone receives a message on our Sunday gatherings, but please let this just be a little taste of how close your loved ones are. They can hear you. They're part of your life. Again, pay attention to those little details, that ideas and thoughts that seem to come out of the blue. Even if you take some time and just take a walk down memory lane in your mind with all those feelings, next thing you know, more memories will be coming in, and that's an easy way for them to communicate with you. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Darren for some inspirational words of the week, and then our closing prayer.
Thank you for that, Sandra, and thank you to each and every one of you. It's been an absolute joy and privilege to be on here today with Sandra, with Chris, and with Dominic. It's always a pleasure, so thank you, guys. The last song Sandra's picked is We Are the Champions by Queen, and I'm sure we all love that song. But when you hear the words champion, you automatically think of sports stars, especially with the Olympics being on now, the gold medal winners, the silver medal winners. You put them on a pedestal as a champion. But for me, there's more champions than that. When you look at the video Sandra played earlier, and somebody put something in the chat box that made me think, you saw those Paralympians and what they were doing and how debilitated they were. And we moan about the most trivial things within our lives, don't we? Oh, we're going to get wet, it's raining outside today, or, whatever it may be. But when you see those Paralympians and what they're capable of doing, wow, that puts our lives into perspective, doesn't it? So they are definitely champions. To me, they're more of a champion than these guys winning the medals, for what they're able to achieve and overcome. When you look at the loved ones that's come before us, Chris spoke about his beautiful son who gives him those signs and those messages. Dominic's demonstrated evidential mediumship, the communicators that came through and gave evidence of life after life. Wow, they're champions, all those in the unseen world, what they're capable of doing and showing us they can do. But you know what? You guys are champions as well. We've all lived a life here, all of a reasonable age, some more than others. But when you think about our lives, you know, what we've gone through, I'm sure we've all experienced grief in some way. We've all experienced not so good things within our life in some way. But you know what? We're all here to tell the story. We're all here to share our experiences. We're all here to help each other and inspire each other. So for me, you guys are champions as well, because you're here to help. You know, it's this community we've got here, We Don't Die. We're all here to help and inspire in the best way we can. So when the song does play at the end, and I know if you was in the bar, because I would be, if I was in a bar drinking and this song came on, I'd be singing from the top of my lungs. So when this song does come on, I want you to sing in the privacy of your own house. No one can hear you. But when you sing those words, we are the champions, think of all those champions around us, our loved ones in the unseen world, you know, these guys that are not as advantaged as we are, but also you guys, and sing from the top of your voice like you mean it, because we are all champions. So having said that, if you'd all like to close your eyes and join me for today's closing prayer. We'd like to thank our friends, brothers and sisters from within our lands for coming together here today in unison under that banner of We Don't Die, and allowing us to all come together in the joy and celebration of uniting the two worlds together once again. And to our dear friends, helpers and loved ones of that world we call unseen, we'd like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude for allowing us once again to absorb those thoughts and those words shared by your world here today, bringing us all those moments of joy, healing and upliftment once again. And we'd like to thank you for once again allowing us to be in the arms of eternity, immersed within that unconditional love and that healing balm, allowing us to leave this Sunday gathering in a much more positive way. And for all those that's worked here today, we thank you for allowing us the opportunity to work with your world. Each and every one of us deems this a joy and a privilege, and each and every one of us has done this to the best of our own ability and our own understanding. And we truly hope we've made a great difference to all of humanity here today. So as we leave this Sunday gathering and allow the sun to set on this day, we go forward to the dawn of a new day and a new week, continuing our own journeys of life, creating our own pathways. And we can do this in the comfort and knowledge to know that you continually walk by our side day in and day out, guiding us and inspiring us to truly be the best individual that we can be. And we continue to go forth in our truth that love and life are both eternal. And we ask as always that that healing light continues to shine to all four corners of our world, to bring that joy, that love, and that happiness to all those hearts and minds that may be in need in this day and in the forward week. Until we meet again, my friends, amen.
Thank you so much, Darren, and thank you to Dominic and our special guest, Chris, to our friends in the spirit world, and to you. There's so many places you could be right now or doing something else, and you chose to be with us on the Sunday gathering. We thank you. All right, our closing song, Darren says, sing it, you know it. Here we go. You gotta love a little Freddie Mercury. We are the champions, and we'll keep fighting. We love you all. Remember, you are all, each one of us are supported by our loved ones, cheering us on as those champions we are. Life is the hardest part of our journey, but we will be reunited not too soon. Your life matters. We love you all. We'll see you again. Mwah. Bye, everyone.